is just execution-wise in terms of your offense and defense? You seem to be at such a high level with the team.
I think we were disconnected, I think we talked about before the game. I think you guys saw that JJ was talking about. We said we're going for war that night. We are ready for it. I think we've been losing a lot against them. So we took it personal, of course, and we came out, we showed up with the great energy and spirit, and yeah, we are connected. That's why we got that win. So we got to keep doing it.
This is the first time we actually got to see Luka in a Laker uniform. We used to see him in his average uniform. At what point in the game did you realize he had it going from the jump?
The jump, yeah. When he made the first three, I was like, okay, he's on it tonight. So, yeah, but I think it was great to see him, back on his rhythm. I think, I don't know how much he's, 100% healthy, but I think he started getting back to his rhythm. So yeah, I'm happy.
You guys have been the best defensive team in the league over this stretch. It's been significant. How confident are you in that side of the ball?
It's more so the system we have right now. We help off. We help each other. We play defense. Of course, it's individual defense, but also it's a team defense. I think we cover for each other. That's our first game that we talk about. When we play team defense. And I think that's what we've been great at. So we just got to keep doing it.
You're going to see Max. No AD, obviously. He'll be here probably. Max on the court. Just the growth from him. Where he's been now. How impressed were you with
Yeah, I think I think his first year, I think, when I got here, and how he's going, his growth and everything, it's been great, and I'm happy for him. Of course, I'm sad that we lost him, but I'm happy for him. He's moving and whatever he got, he's doing things. So I love him. I'm excited to see him tomorrow, and yeah.
In a video released by the team, JJ's post-game chat, he mentioned how the belief that win against Denver would, I guess, increase your guys' belief. You guys were talking about wanting to be a great team. What does executing the way you did, both sides of the ball, especially defensively, what does that do for your guys' team belief in becoming the great team you guys aspire to be?
Yeah, we just, like I said, we were connected that night. I think since Luka got traded here, it's been a couple games still, but I think that was the first time everybody was, on the court together, and I think it was a great. It's gonna be a progress. We still have 30 games left or something, so it's gonna be. We have to be, still locking and finish the season strong. But I think that's a progress, and that game was one of the first ones that we kind of start with, and I think I'm excited for the rest of the season.
There's obviously, because of the trade, there was a lot of, in the immediate aftermath, a lot of emotional part of the trade in terms of the shock, surprise for Luka, in terms of being
of course. It's a part of it's a part of business here in the NBA.
Is there an eagerness as teammates to see how he comes out, at least especially to start the game on tomorrow against his old team?
I'm happy for him. He's still recovering from his injury, I guess. He's still coming back for it. But I think he got his rhythm back, a little bit. So I'm excited for him tomorrow. His home against his ex-home team. So I'm gonna be, it's gonna be a good one. And it's gonna be fun.
Do you remember your first game against Washington?
Yeah, I remember that.
Was that when you had circled, did you want to kind of stick it to them?
Yeah, but it's more deeper for sure. I was there for 3-4 years. He was there for 7 years at the first office. Different thing. But I think he has a lot of mixed feeling right now, of course, and hopefully.
But you wanted to prove something to him in that game.
Not really. I don't.
No, I was saying.
Yeah, I was ready to leave. I wasn't really trying to prove anything when I got here.
You're the best.
Good.
Appreciate it, Rui.
Time winning that game, did you sense that he had a different vibe about it?
I can't lie. I don't know. I knew it was just gonna come. Luka, I shoot with him all the time, so I know there wasn't nothing wrong with his shot. It just, he hasn't played for a while, so he ain't played since Christie, and guys want him to come back and be, 30, 10, and 10. But it takes time. He's human, and I'm just happy he finally good.
Looking to tomorrow night, obviously that's going to be a big game for everyone. What are some of the keys for you guys?
Just go out there and play hard. You know, we want to get this win just like any other game, but we know it's gonna be a lot of emotion in the air, as far as what everything that's gonna happen. But we just try to go out there and get the win.
Speaking of that emotion, you know that Luka used that to fuel himself. Sometimes, how do you think it'll fuel him tomorrow night?
I think he's gonna be excited. But everybody in the locker room is excited. We got his back. It's gonna be a hard-fought game. I know JK gonna have them ready to come in and compete. So we just gotta match their attention.
Joe, you know what it takes to play successfully off of Luka. I'm curious what you've seen from Rui. As somebody who feels like he really benefit in terms of the catch and shoot and baseline actions and stuff like that. What have you seen from them early? I guess how effective do you think Rui's skill set can be?
I think playing with LeBron kind of already put him in a great position to be able to play with Luka. LeBron already a great passer, so just adding Luka to that just make it even better. You'll get a bunch of wide open shots. Same as me, I'm back getting wide open shots where I feel like I got a rush when I really don't. I got plenty of time, but the last couple of years I ain't been playing with guys like Luka, so I've been getting hard closeouts. But now I got that time to you butt naked wide open. So excuse my language, but
He's more than that. That's
you wide open, so you just gotta shoot the ball with confidence and we'll be playing well.
Dorian, they're plus 163 in 20 games now. And I know you don't look at the counting stats, but do you take pride in something like that? And just
when you ain't making shots, that's something you look at. You look at a game, you made a bunch of shots, and you see your plus minus. You try to hold your head on something, but no, it's just I'm happy good things happen when I'm on the court. Hopefully we continue that thing.
Dorian, how did you feel like your IQ's improved even since having Bron on your team, who's new, and then also from your Brooklyn days down to here, because you learned different experiences at different spots. How do you feel like your IQ's changed?
Well, just being a defender and guarding these guys, I already kind of knew what they do well. So just me trying to come in and mesh well with these guys. Feel like what I do, I can fit in any team. So just come over here and be myself.
So much of us are looking forward to what Luka will have in store. You've been knowing him for a long time. How much are you looking forward to?
I'm excited, man. I know he's going to be ready, but I try not to put too much pressure on him because at the end of the day, we just want to get the win. We get the win. I know he's going to be happy.
How much of it do you think in the first few games, was it like a mental thing, knowing Luka so well, versus just actually getting acclimated back on the court?
I would say just getting acclimated back on the court. He ain't played since Christmas, and I think he had 40, so he he gonna beat him. That's what he do. He gonna make shots. He gonna make them in bunches. We just gotta stick together and get stops. We get stops, it's gonna be fun on the other end.
Joe, this team has responded pretty well to challenges, particularly since you've gotten here. When it's played big games, it's basically won all of its big games. The losses have been teams maybe that a little lower in the standings. What have you liked about kind of the emotional endurance? I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but to take on big games and take on big challenges, because you guys have a handful of them here coming up.
Just gotta stick together. We've been stepping up to the challenge. But that's part of being a pro is playing every game the same. So we definitely gotta work on that. But we've been we're playing hard the last couple of weeks. We gotta keep it going. We just gotta stack wins. Try to be the better team going into this last stretch of the season.
Dorian, I know that you've always been involved in the community wherever you go. How has it been thus far getting integrated into the LA community?
I'm driving around trying to figure out where I want to, what parts of the town now I'm just playing. Now I definitely want to, get my footprint out here, especially, find the areas, that I feel like is similar to where I grew up from. So, definitely can't wait to do that.
How much do you think the buy-in from JJ that you guys have gotten from just the team buying into JJ's regime and just his game plan?
Coach been doing a great job of getting us prepared, and that's been building trust. We've been doing exactly what he's saying, and we've been getting wins, and I feel like that's been building a lot of trust in the locker room. Brian being, a great communicator and, imposing, his IQ on us and helping us out. So it just, it's gelling at the right time. We just got to keep it going.
Thanks, so.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you for one.
keys for you guys in that?
Back up just there, please.
Thought for sure just our initial physicality. Thought Rui, Vando for sure, Gabe, for Braun. Like we just had a lot of guys play really physical basketball on that end. And then it's just the commitment to it. Not overreacting to Gordon making early threes, not overreacting to Westbrook making jump shots. That takes a certain level of discipline to do that. But our guys just really, executed it really hard.
To see Luka just in a good place physically, mentally, and to have that kind of a game, at what point did you realize you kind of had it going? Was it pretty early?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I've talked a lot about this in my previous profession with him. He has, when he's at his best, he has this really unique ability to live in this tension of joyful and playful and a killer mentality. And I thought he was able to find that duality.
How do you think emotionally he'll handle
I think it's every day that he's been with us, becoming the normal. I've been there like the first time you play your old team, particularly this close in time duration. It's going to be weird, but he'll be able to handle it.
And having even the fact that you were his teammate in Dallas, having St. Jean, Evans, Dorian with this group has helped in transition for him.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Markeith, of course, Maxey. I think just having familiar faces around is great for him. I mean, you never know though, because you're talking about a guy who left home as a teenager to go to Madrid in a different country and learn how to speak Spanish on his own. Like he's a different dude. But I think for him, given the magnitude of the change in scenery, I think having us around to help him, support him, has been great.
Speaking of your previous career, do you have any words of advice or encouragement for Richard Jefferson upon getting
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think they picked the wrong person. No, it's funny because I saw him Friday night, and I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "They haven't told me anything." And then I show up to the green room on Saturday, and Mike and Doris were like, "We have our newest member of the finals crew." I looked down and I'm like, "What? You withholding information from me?" He's like, "No, I literally found out today." So I'm thrilled for him. He deserves it. He's someone who, I say this all the time about him, like he was born to do television, probably more so than being born to be a basketball player. Like he's just got a natural ability, and he's someone, like I've been around him now for 4 years in that space. He just works and works at his craft. Like he takes it, he's dedicated to it. So I'm happy for him, and I think that's a great move.
Did you guys have everybody today for practice?
Yeah, it was good.
I know that situation a lot this year where you had everybody. What were you able to do today? Are you still installing stuff, or you working to get Luka up to speed on stuff?
We did some situation bombs with some endgame stuff, like 5 situation bombs. So 2 defensive, 3 offensive scenarios, which we would be doing anyways if we didn't have new players. Those things you have to constantly sharpen it up, tweak, practice, all that stuff. So we worked on that, and then a lot of today was just prep for that.
JJ, did you ever, as a player, podcaster, broadcaster, even coach, did you ever watch the standings closely for games?
As a player, I did. Yeah. As a broadcaster and podcaster, no.
Yeah.
As a coach, yeah, you're
pretty dialed in.
Psychotic. You're psychotic back there. I wake up every morning and I say, all right, who's playing who today? I need to know. I think coaches, I remember being in Philly with like Jim O'Brien and Brett and all those guys. And, as a player, you're obviously looking at the standings, but I don't know who else is playing tonight. I know we have a game, and that's all they would talk about. Who was Cleveland playing? Was there a chance Cleveland played? We're trying to get the 3.
I found myself caring yesterday way more than I usually do.
Yeah, coaches are like that. Yeah, coaches are like that.
JJ, it's the first time you guys are going to be playing Max. Can you just speak to his growth with you guys this season?
the day I took the job, was someone that I was very high on, and really, him and Jalen were the first two guys that we got our hands on because we weren't with the summer league team all that much. So Bronny and DK were kind of with that group, and Max and Jalen were with us in summer league, and just feel very invested for the rest of my life in his career. He's someone who, throughout our time together, was given more opportunity and became someone who starred in his role. He has a lot of freedom in Dallas that frankly he didn't have here. At some point he would have had it here, but really happy to see him succeeding.
There were cameras in the locker room captured your intensity for that game fairly well. It seemed like early was a sliver of it. You guys are going to play a lot of big games here in the stretch. Is that a realistic demand, like that energy level, that sort of level of big game feel? Can that be captured night to night? How have you guys done with that so far this season?
I think more times than not, we've done really well. There's certainly a feel to it of when to press and when not to press. I would say for me personally, watching Dallas stuff yesterday, obviously watching some of the games. My kids had their semifinals and finals in the travel tournament I was at. I spent a lot of time watching basketball yesterday, and I couldn't wait to come to work for that. And I can't wait for tomorrow, and we'll be excited for Wednesday. That's just, for me personally, that's just how I know I'm doing the right thing right now. This is what I thought it would be, and my own sustainability, we're not worried about that. I think as a coach, you just have to gauge the energy of the group and the vibe of the group, and know when to press and when not to press. But we're preparing. Our guys recognize we're in a dogfight for playoff seeding right now, and we're preparing for the playoffs. And everything we do is
Coach, now that Luka's been here for a few weeks, is there something in particular about his basketball brilliance, his basketball IQ that really speaks to you?
I think part of what makes him brilliant is that he makes the game easy for everyone else. I didn't get to experience that as much as I would have liked as a teammate, but he would be somebody that I would just love to watch.
Coach, since the AD trade, the team's been top 3 grading, really been doing such a good job of denying points in the paint. How's the team been able to excel defensively even after losing a guy like AD?
Again, just team defense, and that's something that we have preached and talked about throughout the year, not just when we had AD. Our group is committed to it right now, and we have some good defenders. We have some really good defenders, but I think in the NBA, OKC has a bunch of really good on-ball guys. They still play defense. You have to play a good defense. You have to rely on each other, and we're doing that right now.
Kind of along those lines, past 18 games, you guys have best defense in the league, top 8 offense, top 3 net rating, best record. That's been with AD and Max, with just Max, without either of them, then with Luka. So you guys have kind of gone through different identity shifts within that period. What's been like the through line, you feel like, on both sides of the ball, that despite personnel and even kind of playing different styles, you guys have still been a top 3 team?
Playing hard, competing. You're trying to capture that every night, and again, this is a team sport, and the group has to be right. And I think more times than not, our group has just been right with our competitive spirit, and the game plan shifts, and what you're trying to do offensively or defensively may alter game to game. To me, it's less of a system as it is adaptability and concepts, and then going about executing those concepts within the framework of the system.
Thanks, Coach.